a very successful coach at Yale.
Yeah.
And he used the same technique also,
Yeah.
being available to the students.
Yeah.
And they appreciated it and they produced for you.
Yeah.
You know,
So you were coaching all three weapons. You were developing the men's team.
I was coaching all three weapons, right? And,
You were you couldn't you couldn't really depend on having any experience beforehand. So
that's correct. And I got Joe Levis to come and start fencing with us more frequently. And I tried to pick his brain and his experience to help out also. Unfortunately, none of the students could match Joe Levis's ability to put together a good game, and I could only go halfway with it myself.
Yeah.
You know, but nonetheless, it was his determination to see a game through and to play and use patience and so on like that, all of which came in handy in illustrating these things to the students.
Right.
And
So
say-
talking about the game strategy
Talking
as well
about
as
the game
just
strategy with them, and that intrigued them because the ordinary way of coaching, the coaches didn't talk about strategy very much. It was, you learn how to execute the move, and the rest of it will take care of itself. And these students that I had here were not interested only in technique. They felt that they could go beyond that. And they did. And I remember winning some matches just because our students could count the bouts better than the other students could.
Use every advantage.
Use every advantage, right? And then the women's team, when it came to, they had 4 women on a team,
Yeah.
and there you even counted the touches.
Yeah.
And our women were superior to the others on that as well.
So you're teaching beginner fencers to be varsity fencers.
You're right.
What did you find the challenges were there? And MIT is a particular kind of place.
Well, I remember that, I remember one time Ed Richards describing to me a situation when one of his fencers was fencing at Brandeis, and Ed Richards had taught the fencer how to make about 5 or 6 different parries on the defense. And his fencer, he knew if his fencer made the right kind of a parry, that he could pick up this Brandeis fencer as he was charging in on the attack. And so Ed Richards went out to coach him after he got permission from the director, and he told his fencer, parry 7. You know how to parry 7, and then make your repose. And so, oh yes, yeah, coach. And so Ed Richards went back after giving him this advice, and the Brandeis fencer attacked 2 more times in a row, and each time his fencer attempted a parry, and it failed. And when the guy lost, Ed Richards went out to him. He says, "Hey, I thought I told you to parry 7. "Yes, coach, I was parrying 7. I was parrying 7. And he was parrying 4.
Oh my God, yeah.
And so what I learned from that was, instead of trying to teach the person when you go out on the strip to coach him, to use a specific move, you've got to understand this guy wants to win. And you can't teach him at that time how to fence. What you can do is get into his frame of thinking and then saying, okay, use what you think you can, but do it quicker than the other person can, and prepare a surprise for him. Oh, what should I do, coach? You prepare the surprise using your technique. And so that's all I would say. I would say use the distance, change the tempo like you get in a lesson, but you use your own game. And by God, that worked better. That's what I found. Now, Johann, with his emphasis on getting the person to fence your kind of a game, carried it even further. Carried that idea even further. And so this was the beginning of what I was learning as a new coach. This was the beginning of what later on turned into some very fruitful conversations with Johan,
Yeah, yeah,
and led to even more successes.
yeah. I do want to double check your time. What time should you leave here?
Well, I should leave in about 10 or 15 minutes.
I want to go back a little bit. So you're trying to get people to develop their own innate sort of inclinations into a winning game,
Mhm.
and you're actually giving them a little less information and having them figure things out on their own.
Mhm.
Were you having them bout more? Did you think that was important? How did you give them lessons? Were you trying to, how did that mix?
What I
for
tried,
you?
what I tried to do was different from the way my mentors taught me. I tried to emphasize all three aspects of the game. Have a good attack, have two good defenses,
Mhm.
and have at least two, maybe three counterattacks.
Mhm. Mhm.
So you can change the game.
Mhm.
And each time you can go from attack to not attacking to letting him attack